Hey friends, welcome to the channel. Today in this video we are going to solve the final problem of week 4 of CS50, which is recover. So to see the requirements, what we will do is we'll come to this website, which is cs50.harvard.edu/x2225 PSets for recover. If you're watching this video in 26, make sure to change the year. Anyway, once you come here, what you will see is we are basically supposed to recover deleted files from a memory card, right? The memory card is given to us in where is it? In the distribution code. We have the files like the deleted memory area, and we just have to recover the JPEG files from that, right? So the very first thing we will do is we'll go to Visual Studio Code from left, right? Open this and then click on login, and basically you'll come to this website. And remember, we created these folders in the previous videos. So what we will do is first we will navigate to the correct folder, which is week 4, and then ls. Okay, and now what we will do is, let's expand this. So we will need to download the distribution codes, which is here, distribution code, and you're just supposed to click here and then copy this entire code, copy, come back here and paste it here, press enter, and you will get a zip file, recover.zip. So what we are supposed to do then is basically say unzip recover.zip, and then you will get a folder from the zip file, and then we will get rid of the recover.zip file, .zip, y for yes, and okay, we now have a folder. So I'll navigate there, I'll say recover, cd recover, and then we'll say code recover.c, press enter. So this is our file, this is where we are going to program, and this card.new is the memory area from where the files were deleted, right? So once you read the description that is given to us, by coming here, what you will see is, you should watch this video, I highly recommend that. But basically what you will see is, this is what we are supposed to do. First, we are supposed to accept a command line argument, just one, as in the execution code and the file name. Similarly, we are supposed to open the memory card, and then while there's still data left to read from the card, we will create JPEGs from the data. So let me just copy all of this, it may be helpful. Or instead of doing this, we'll expand this pseudocode and we'll come towards the bottom, and what we will do is we'll just copy this entire thing. Okay, let me clear this screen. Okay, so this is the thing that we are working with. So first we are accepting a single command line argument, as in when the user executes the program, if they don't enter another command line argument besides the execution code, then we want to print this, the usage code, and then we want to return an error by returning 1. So once we have checked for the command line argument, we want to open our argv file, which will be given by the user, and we want to store it, or basically we want to open it as a file called card, but instead of card, let's just make it a raw file, and then I'll copy this, I'll paste this here. Okay, and then we will open it as a read mode file, and then what we want to do is we are creating a buffer of 512 bits, right? Because every single JPEG file is going to be of 512 blocks. So once that is done, what we are doing here is, now we are getting into the meat of our program, the main part, which is creating the JPEG files from the data, right? Okay, so the very first thing that we want to do is we want to create a variable called found. So let's just call it int found JPEG, and let's assign it 1 for now. 1 means false, right? We have not found it yet, but when we begin to find the pattern that is associated with JPEG files, which is, let me close this, let's come here. If you watch this video, what you will see is, for every JPEG file there is a pattern, or at least the beginning of JPEG file has a pattern. The first bit is always 0xff, same for all of these starting values, right? Similarly, the second is 0xd8 for all of the files. Similarly, the third is 0xff, and the fourth is the only thing that differs. But even in that, there's a pattern. It always starts with 0xe, and then this particular value can change. It may be 5 or something. So basically what we will check is we will try to find out the pattern, if there exists a pattern in the file that we are currently, or basically in the memory block that we are currently accessing. And if we do find a pattern, then we want to say found JPEG is equals to 0, which is true, right? We'll say we found a JPEG, and then we will do whatever we need to do, which is creating a new file, and we want to store that JPEG file there. Okay, so here what we are going to do is we'll say if, but how do we check for the pattern? The first three are same, but the fourth might differ. So if you watch this video, you will see that Brian gives us a formula that we can use. Formula as in, these three are pretty simple to understand. So I'll just copy this. You might not be able to. I'm currently using a tool which allows me to do this. If the first is this, and if the second is D8, and similarly the third is this, for example, buffer2 is equals to this, and this is a pretty neat tip that we can use, a trick that we can use. So what this line is doing here is it is basically only considering these three values, 0x and E, right? And whatever is after that, it is resetting that to 0, 0, right? This is called a bitwise operation. So we'll just paste this entire thing here. This will do the job. So when this happens, we will basically know that a particular pattern has been found, right? We have found a JPEG pattern. So when this happens, what we want to do is we want to set found JPEG to 0, right? This means that we have found a JPEG file. And if and only if we have found a JPEG file, we will say if found JPEG is equals to 0. In this case, what we want to do is we want to basically first check whether or not this is our first file, right? So to keep track of that, we would also need to declare another variable, and let's call that counter. Counter equals 0 for now. We want to start with 0. And if counter is equals to 0, let me put this into a if then condition. If this is the case, in that case what we want to do is we'll come back here, and then what you will see is in the same video Brian also explains these concepts. Basically, to make a new JPEG file, we can use something called sprintf, right? And then we can initiate the file name, and we would use this particular notation, which would allow us to initiate the files, or basically name the files with 3-digit integers, right? %03i means 3 integers, and for the integer value we would use this particular thing which we are going to edit. So what we are going to do is we'll say sprintf here, file name, and I want to say percentage, right, percentage 03i dot jpeg, and here I want to say counter, right? And counter is basically going to be 0 for the first part, and then we will increase the counter. So to increase the counter, what we will say is counter plus plus, right? Also, when we are doing this, we will need to open a file called image, and then we want to write in that, which is basically going to be our new file. But instead of opening the file here, it would be a lot better if we open it here. We would say file, and let's just call it image, and let's initiate with null in the beginning, and we will change the value later. So we will come here and we will say image is equals to f open file name. We want to open it in write mode because we are creating a new file, right? Similarly, what we want to do then is here we have opened a new file, and now we are going to write into that new file. So to write, we are going to say f write buffer comma, we want to write 1 byte at a time, 1 bit, and then we are going to do that 512 times. But in what file? The file is going to be img, which we are opening here. Let's add a semicolon. But this particular lines of code would only be useful if we were operating on the very first file, if the counter was 0. But what if the counter was not 0? In that case, we would have to consider closing or basically avoiding any memory leaks, right? which would mean that we would need to close this image file, right? So you know what, let's just do this. Let's say if the counter was not 0, right? Only in this case, what I want to do is, let me move all of this here, and I'll say if the counter is not 0, then I want to say f close, and I want to close the image file. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so this should hopefully work. So if image has been found, we want to do these things, and hopefully all of this is correct. However, if we have not found a new image pattern, what do we want to do then? If you look here, what you will see is only the beginnings of the JPEG file has these patterns, right? The ones that we are considering over here, right? So even after the initial pattern, there are blocks of codes, or basically blocks of data, which is used by this JPEG file. So what we want to do is, if new file has been found, then we basically want to open a new file and add it into our new file. However, if a new file has not been found, then we just want to keep writing to our current file, right? So for example, if we are here, we want to add it to this particular JPEG file. If we are here, this is not a new pattern, so we want to add to like our memory file, right? The same image file. So basically what we want to do is, we'll say else the counter is not 0, because subsequent files, or basically subsequent blocks would only come, or continuous blocks would only come if this has already come, right? We want to basically get rid of any edge cases, right? So we want to say if the counter is not 0, then we simply want to write it, and I can just copy and paste this here. All right, hopefully this works. And okay, so we are closing the image here if this, but we are not really closing anything here, right? Because image is currently open for this too, right? And for example, if we were in the last block, there is no new pattern for it to close the file. So basically we would need to close the file again. F close image. Hopefully this works. Done. And did we open anything else? We opened a raw file, but we did not close that. So let's copy that also. And we want to say F close this. Let's see if we are missing anything else. Okay, we are using a variable called file name, but did we initiate that? Not yet. File name should be a string, right? Which is a character, because we are not using CS50 library here. So we'll say char file name. String is always an array of characters, so we would have to give it some height, but what height? Since we are using 3 integers here, this would become, I don't know, 3 to just 6 for our values, and then we would also have to have a \n, so 6 plus 2, 8. So we would have to give it a 8 size, and hopefully this works. Let's try to execute the program. So I'll say make recover, press enter. Okay, what are we missing? uint8. So uint8, right, we did not include the header file for it, which is std int.h. I'll say make recover again. Okay, what am I missing here? When I was copying pasting, this came as O, but we want to use it as 0x. Let me do the same thing again and clear the screen, make recover again. Okay, this is line 49. In line 49, oh yeah, I want to say else if counter is not equals to 0. Clear again, make again. Okay, that worked. We have a recover executable file. So in order to run our program, let's do this. So for example, if we were to simply say recover, this would not work. Yeah, uses, this is how we use it, and we got an error file, or basically an error message. So I'll copy this command and I'll paste it here, and all right, this looks like it worked. Okay, these are our JPEG files that were deleted from this memory card. So that is wonderful. Let me close all of this, and now let's check whether or not our program is correct. So I'll copy this entire thing, I'll come here, I'll paste it here and press enter. All right, as you can see, everything is green. That is wonderful. The next thing, if you want, you can copy paste for the style, but what I always like to do is I like to click on style 50 right top corner and apply changes. Looks good, wonderful. And I'll copy this submit code. I'll come here, I'll paste it here, press enter. It will ask whether or not we are sure to submit it, which we are. So I'll say yes, we are sure, go ahead. And it will tell us that we can see our score here. Command click, open, and let's give it a second. And as you can see, we got a full point for our logic. Check 50 give us full, and also the styling is full points. So that is how you solve the recover problem of week 4 of CS50. If you want more videos for all the other problem sets, make sure to click on the playlist that is currently on the screen, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.